Limerick begin their championship campaign with a largely experienced lineup. Donal O'Grady returns and has been named in midfield. It's his 35th championship game. Seamus Hickey continues in the half-forward line, and Shawnee Tobin, who missed the Division 1B decider against Dublin, returns at top of the left. Tipperary, meanwhile, make 5 changes from the team which started the league final. Brendan Cummins is back in goal, Paddy Stapleton at right full, John O'Brien at half-forward, and Seamus Callanan at number 14. The 5th change sees Pa Burke replace Jason Ford, who's ill, unfortunately, on a day when Kieran Bergen makes his championship debut. Referee Brian Gavitt from Offaly gets the match underway, and it is Tipperary who won the toss. They're playing from left to right in the first half, which means their forwards are going to be shooting into an end of the ground which isn't populated. It's the one part of the ground, the city end, which doesn't have any spectators today. But it's a very good crowd here on a balmy hot afternoon. And Tipperary can launch the first attack. Brendan Maher didn't make the greatest of connections, and Stephen Walsh comes across, collects it here, dishes it out there as far as Paul Brown. Chance for Limerick now to get the first attack underway here in earnest. Shawnee Tobin really trying to make more of an angle and enterprisingly playing it back here towards Donal O'Grady. Galloping forward, and he's put that one over the bar. It's a very good start for Limerick. After 43 seconds, Donal O'Grady gets the first point of the match. Well, that's exactly the start that they have been looking for. Tip were on the attack, didn't make anything of it, but Limerick got down the other end, got the first score. Paul Brown avoids the hook.
Tipperary today plays his club hurling with Drummond Inch. That's a nice straightforward one to match his great memories. And today a chance for Tip and Limerick to make some new ones. Good pressure by Graham Mulcahy. Manages to flick it through to James Ryan. He's on the 40 today. Finds space and pops it over the bar. Good pressure by Limerick to get the hook in to dispossess Conor O'Mahony. And Ryan applies the finish.
Yeah, great work by Graham Mulcahy, working hard, setting up James Ryan for that score.
So Limerick are back in front and they go long and direct. They're looking for Shawnee Tobin. Runs all the way through to Brendan Cummins, starting a championship game today for Tipperary for the 72nd time. Good strong hand by John O'Brien, but well blocked. He was preparing to pull the trigger as soon as he got possession. Close so much as a puff of a breeze here at the Gaelic grounds. A perfect afternoon for hurling, a perfect afternoon for free takers. The Tip supporters fall silent. Callanan hasn't caught that cleanly, didn't make good contact, and manages to spoon it down along that right-hand side towards. And Brendan Maher had his pocket picked by Paul Brown. This is Shawnee Tobin using his pace to get out in front of Stapleton. Lays it off to Declan Hannon on the run, and he fires it over the bar. Lovely hurling by Limerick. Tobin to Hannon, and a sublime score.
Yeah, and Tobin is, Limerick again. Clare tried a lot of short sideline cuts last weekend, but they gave possession away, and Limerick didn't pay the price for it.
So all of Limerick's first 3 points have come from play. So Seamus Callanan with a very straightforward opportunity, you would think, to narrow the margin. On second viewing, it did look shoulder to shoulder, perhaps a tad late. Shrugs aside the challenge of Pádraig Maher, gets his shot in, and that was a grab. Spots the run in behind of Bonner Maher into the centre. Chance for Tip here. The shot, and a great save by Quaid from Callanan. He hit it low and hard. It was heading for the corner, but Nicky Quaid got down smartly, the All-Star nominee last year, to push the shot from Callanan away, and it's gone out for a 65.
Yeah, brilliant save by Nicky Quaid. We mentioned about Bonner drifting in behind, and Wayne McNamara completely lost him. A great pass across.
Pa Burke has been handed the responsibility of hitting the 65. A late inclusion in the Tip team in place of Jason Ford, and that's Pádraig Maher under pressure from David Breen, and Paul Brown just got a hurl to that as well. Nothing coming easy out around the middle. And another opportunity for Declan Hannon perhaps to edge Limerick further ahead. The crowd behind that goal like it, the umpires like it, And Limerick now lead by 3 points. Hannon, who hit 9 points on his championship debut against Wexford 2 years ago, has hit 3 in the match so far. And it's so far so good for Limerick.
Yeah, and short puck out again from Brendan Cummins. Long ball down the field.
And breaks kindly perhaps for Seamus Callanan, but again, the Limerick defenders converge quickly. Power Burke bends his back and gets that ball under control. Shoveled out to John O'Brien onto his right-hand side. And John O'Brien with the snapshot hits the target. Alice, Kevin Downs and Niall Moran all waiting in reserve. Sideline cut in towards Breen, flicks towards the line, cleared away, chance for Tobin. And Shawnee Tobin with the first-time shot hits the Tipperary net. And now we've got a game in our hands. Brendan Cummins beaten.
Yeah.
19 minutes in.
Yeah, I think David Breen got a flick on it, and Cummins well to keep it out, but it broke to Shawnee Tobin and in, I think, with the aid of the post. But that's exactly what Limerick needed, because that'll get the crowd behind them now. You know, and is tipping a bit of a hole here now, Mike.
Shawnee Tobin with his third goal in the wide open. The first goal of the day as Power Burke at the other end replies for Tipperary. And maybe, just maybe, this game now will kickstart into life. It had been tipping along at its own pace for the first quarter, but that goal from Shawnee Tobin has sent energy pulsing around the Gaelic grounds. And here come Limerick again. David Breen from way out the country, putting his head down, letting fly, and that's gone over the bar. Limerick lead by 5 points. They were 7 ahead at one stage in this fixture last year. He's outnumbered 2-1, but he manages to win possession, trying to link up with Declan Hannon, cut out by Paul Curran, and out into the centre of the field to Noel McGrath, who's had a quiet first 20 minutes. Trying to provide some ammunition now, though, for Power Burke, who's slipped his man. Burke goes through, he's gone for the goal. Good save by Quaid once more. The second fine save by Nicky Quaid in this first half, denying Power Burke with a flying save. And he really went for it.
He did, yeah. I mean, again, great stop by Nicky Quaid. Power Burke had a lot to do, expecting to beat Nicky Quaid from there, but the Limerick cover was back. There wasn't really a whole lot else on. Possibly should have put it over the bar, but that's 2 good stops from Nicky Quaid and instrumental in keeping Limerick at
James Ryan. Limerick just that split second quicker to react inside to Mulcahy, take him on. Callanan does just that. Lovely skill. Callanan goes for the goal. And he very nearly got it. Well, what a mazy run by Seamus Callanan, who used his pace initially to win possession, then great skill and balance, and it would have been a goal for the scrapbook had it hit the net.
It would, and I don't think John Allen would be too happy with the full back line if Seamus Callanan had been allowed, as Mulcahy and Tobin, and the way they started, particularly. That ball should have gone into the inside line a lot earlier.
Mulcahy involved there to knock it back initially towards Seamus Hickey. Now Shawnee Tobin is battling for possession with 2 or 3 tip men. One of them is Nicky Cahill. Referee Brian Gavin says play away. And Tip managed to clear their lines. Noel McGrath, short little pass to John O'Brien. Has very little room to work with, but he makes it count. That's a wonderful score from John O'Brien, his second of this first half, both from play. Another piece of lovely close control, and it was right on target.
Yeah, he's been a great servant tip over the years. Noel McGrath again, good work from Nicky Cahill initially, and topped the pass off to O'Brien, Woodlock and straight between the posts.
Puck out from Nicky Quaid, broken down by Hickey and gathered up by Gavin O'Mahony. First time ball inside towards Hannon, who lets it beat him. Hannon pulls, but it's a fresh air shot, and Brendan Cummins has left his goal. Now what can Limerick work here? Hannon, well blocked down by Paul Curran. The big tip full back from Mullinahone made himself big and awkward, got the challenge in, and the chance was gone.
The cover is getting back in, and good work by Power Burke at the other end to draw the free. Callan standing over it. You know, top class intercounty players don't miss these.
Well, it's his first championship start since the 2011 All-Ireland final. He's now hit 3 points, hurled to it. Tip, though, have won it back again. This is Noel McGrath. Tight angle, flashes it over the bar, and Tip make Limerick pay. They coughed up possession. Noel McGrath nips in. That's his first of the day, and it's back to a 2-point game.
Yeah, Tip starting to find the rhythm a little bit. Shane Burke again. Good ball back out to Noel McGrath. He makes it look very, very easy. Beautiful striker, good finish. 3
points in a row for Tipperary in as many minutes. And and they've cut the margin back to 2 points. Big puck out from Nicky Quaid. Ball bobbling around, grabbed by Seamus Hickey, who's gone straight through. Hickey driving towards goal, tried to kick it, falls for Tobin, and somehow Brendan Cummins manages to arch his back, scoop it up and clear it away. But there was consternation there in the Tip defence as Seamus Hickey bulldozed his way through and very nearly got in for Limerick's second goal. Meanwhile, at the other end, it's a foot race between Richie McCarthy and Seamus Callanan, won by McCarthy. And the full-back and all-star nominee last year gets it away to Paudie O'Brien, and O'Brien, first-time ball down into Mulcahy's corner. It's end-to-end now in the last 5-10 minutes. Shawnee Tobin, the goal scorer, manages to keep it in play, or has he? No, the linesman on that far side has his flag raised. The ball just won the race, and a chance for us to look at that run from Seamus Hickey again.
Yeah, we'll catch our breath, Mike. Probably it was the chance fell to the wrong man. I mean, Seamus Hickey played cornerback, picked the ball off the ground, and managed to clear his lines. Hannon standing over this free now.
Limerick just in need of a score just to keep things ticking over, and Hannon obliges. That's his fourth of this first half. Enjoying this second quarter. Paul Brown sprinting through, just hooked as he tried to get the shot in. That took the sting out of it. And cleared up by Paddy Stapleton and away by Brendan Maher. Good ball, spots Noel McGrath, who's dropped over to his right hand side, just takes a touch. Seamus Hickey. The 1 minute of additional time has almost come to an end as the ground falls silent. O'Mahony dropping it in. Nicky Quaid has his hand in the air trying to shield his eyes, keeping an eye on it. So too back there did Stephen Walsh, and he did well, the corner back. And quite a fitting end to this.
A scrambled in at the end by Shawnee Tobin, and you know, right into the corner there. But like before, after that, Declan Hannon had another fantastic chance of a goal, and you know, let it run when he should have probably taken it in his hand. You know, they've missed a couple of shots as well. And while Tipperary, Noel McGrath came as a third midfielder starting off as expected, but it really didn't work for Tipperary, and they were all at sea, and Limerick were dominating completely for the first 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
and I think should have had more at that stage.
A bit of a pinball goal there for Dahi for Limerick. But what about Tipperary though? Because despite not having as much possession, they've had plenty of chances themselves.
They have. They've had 3 goal chances, and Seamus Callanan was very unlucky with one. They just haven't taken it. But I mean, a couple of great saves by Nicky Quaid, both of them. Now, okay, they were the right height, but John O'Brien should have, like Nicky made the point, he put a hole in the back of the net with that particular one, and he should have done. But they've had 3 clear opportunities. Again, another great save there. Again, the right height, but that's what he's there for. This is a marvellous piece of skill. Gets through, and again, comes out, did the right thing, put the pressure on him. So 3 goal opportunities. Tip have had 2 that they've, or Limerick have 2 they've missed, 1 that they've gotten. At the end of the day, there's 3 points in it, and that's crucial. But Limerick are doing exactly what we spoke about. We're just wiring into the Tip forwards at the moment. But goal chances are critical in games like this.
Well, let's have a look at the influence of Declan Hannon, who.
So a chance for Declan Hannon, which he against Tipperary and let it slip. Time will tell if they can finish what they've started this time round. Wayne McNamara, little flick from Noel McGrath to get it through to Brendan Maher. Pass to John O'Dwyer without even looking, and O'Dwyer with his first touch hammers over his first point. It's back to a 3-point game.
Yeah, and that's a lovely way to make your way onto the inter-county stage, Mike. Just a chance to fall to you like that. And I know Eamon O'Shea rates this guy. He's a beautiful striker by all accounts.
They split the stones here in Limerick. Kieran Bergen, another debutant, finds John O'Brien over his shoulder. Lovely ball. Added to again by Noel McGrath, who's filling that role of playmaker. This is O'Dwyer. He's been given time and space. Makes no mistake. 2 points from play from John O'Dwyer in the space of a minute, and nobody picking him up.
Yeah, but again, sensible play by the Tipperary attack. I think it was Noel McGrath, saw him in space. John O'Brien took the initial ball out. Noel McGrath flicked it on, I think, and O'Dwyer 2 shots, 2 points, and Tip has set clawing the deficit back.
Porrick Maher. He won a county senior championship medal with his club, Gary Spillane, back in 2005. James Ryan has been around the block, loses out this time though. Back to Conor O'Mahony. Good ball. Again, Noel McGrath has the time to take a look. Spots O'Dwyer, who's running riot, and John O'Dwyer with his 3rd touch hits his 3rd point, and that's what you call an impact substitution.
Summed it up like dream start for John O'Dwyer, and Eamon O'Shea looking like a very wise man having made that call. But obviously he's been showing well in training, and You know, Tip do have players that they can make a difference up front, and I said he certainly had a significant impact, and the confidence will be flowing through his veins after that third score in as many short space of time.
And that's 3 points without reply now for Tipperary, as the Munster champions try to lift the pace. Limerick's lead has been whittled back to the bare minimum. Chance here for Donal O'Grady. Let's fly. The umpires nod at each other. Wonderful score from Donal O'Grady, the Limerick captain, leading by example, taking on the responsibility. That's his second of the day. Yeah, great score, and that'll lift the crowd as well at a stage when Tip were starting to come back into it. Brendan Cummins gets the game moving quickly, hurled away by Paddy O'Brien. Once more, Maher and Ryan are matching each other.
Scored his third point, and Tyrone Kelly get warmed up, and he's about to be introduced. Limerick also introducing a substitution. Conor Alice coming on here for David Breen.
So both management teams getting ready to roll out the reinforcements as Callanan judges that perfectly and gives Wayne McNamara a bit of work to do, which he does very neatly and tidily. Limerick recover their composure. Paddy O'Brien, first time ball, nobody at home though in that inside line. And Brendan Cummins has as much time as he needs to take it down at his leisure and pick out John O'Brien. Wonderful take. O'Brien, now this would be some score. That is absolutely brilliant from John O'Brien. The puck down the field by Cummins, caught by O'Brien, and what a way to score your third point in this Munster semi-final. The sides are level here in Limerick.
Yeah, and that's an illustration of the difference between the two sides. I mean, you know, Paddy O'Brien had a chance there to put the ball in front of one of the inside Limerick forwards. You know, went for a score from distance, didn't make it, into Brendan Cummins' hand, and he picked out John O'Brien with a great pass and super finish from O'Brien, his third score from play, and he's had a good afternoon for Tip.
The Tip have outscored Limerick 5 points to 2 since half-time. Sides are level now for the second time in this Munster semi-final as Tip start to build up a head of steam. Callanan well blocked down by Tom Condon, and he has the presence of mind to react quickest to the breaking ball, receiving some running repairs. Meanwhile, getting on with it is Mickey Cahill. The cornerback has put in some games so far. Waits for the arrival of Brendan Maher, shrugs aside the challenge of Paul Brown. Maher goes for his own score and makes it look really easy. He hit 4 brilliant points against Kilkenny in the league final. That's as good as we've seen today. It's his first, and Tip lead after 48 minutes.
Yeah, and starting to find their rhythm now, Tip. Again, great work from Mickey Cahill. He's been excellent so far this afternoon. You know, has put the shackles on Graham O'Cahey for the most part, and you know, used the ball well. Saw that Brendan Maher was outside him, and that's the Brendan Maher that we've seen today. It would have been very surprised if...
And Seamus Hickey has been withdrawn from the half-forward line, so John Allen completely reconfiguring his half-forward line as this second half goes on. Here is Bonner Maher back in the match and ready to go. Spots the loose man, cutting through. It's O'Dwyer! John O'Dwyer is writing his own headlines here. That's 1 goal and 3 points for the half-time substitute. Nicky Quaid given no chance, and Tip look like they're back in business.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant pass by Bonner, but he had work to do, and Nicky Quaid, who's been excellent in Limerick for Limerick this afternoon, had no chance. I mean, picks out the spot in the top corner, unstoppable finish, and you know, that's a pivotal score now in this game and a huge moment.
It's his first day out in championship hurling. He's hit 1-3 since half-time as Shawnee Tobin at the other end nicks a score back for Limerick just to keep that scoreboard moving, just to stem the tide. 3 between them. But John O'Dwyer has taken this match, Jamesy, by the scruff of the neck.
Absolutely. I mean, 1-3, and you know, what is he on? Is he on 15-20 minutes? You know, super contribution. Important for Limerick though to get that score and you know, reply, and you know, the next score now again crucial, and I think it's a free to Limerick. And
play Hannon hitting it into that empty terrace behind Brendan Cummins' goal, and Limerick haven't gone away. That's 2 in a row. Breaking ball gathered up by John O'Brien. Lovely ball to Noel McGrath. Tip looking for that goal that might finish it. Chance for Owen Kelly, and it's gone over the bar. Well, the umpires took a moment or two there just to gather their thoughts. Kelly with the snapshot. It flew like a bullet towards the Ennis goal. Umpire, though, happy enough
Yeah,
it was over, and Tip lead by 3 again.
Yeah, great ball initially with John O'Brien to find Noel McGrath, and probably could have finished it himself, but decided to put it into Kelly, and Kelly showed all his experience. The goal wasn't on, and great block again down there by Shane McGrath in the middle of the field, but Donald O'Grady going for it.
And dangerously dropping in. Cummins is watching it. Mulcahy was in after it. Well, he was on the terrace as a 14-year-old back in 2007 when Limerick and Tip went toe-to-toe 3 times in the championship. Breaking ball won by Hannon. Got through a lot of hard work out around the middle of the field, as has this man, O'Grady, looking to release.
As it's centre forward, and still, as I said, with Mulcahy and Shawnee Tobin both, you know, a live threat inside, Limerick are still very much in this.
Hannon shoots, Hannon scores, and that now means Limerick have hit 4 of the last 5 points in this match. And with from Killinall, does well, rides his luck a little, shot blocked by Shane Dowling, and now Limerick perhaps can get something out of nothing. Dowling is held up, he got the shot in. Brian Gavin raises his arm, he's played the advantage, the score will stand. Dowling's first, he's coming in off the bench. Level for the 3rd time, while Brian Gavin waited and waited, let that develop. Dowling played the whistle, and it all paid off.
He did, and I mean, he blocked the ball down initially himself, Mike, and worked very, very hard for him.
Part of the Limerick defence, off to McNamara, down towards Tobin, but well taken back there by the cornerback Paddy Stapleton. Gets it away to O'Mahony, keeps it short, and this is Noel McGrath. McGrath spinning away from the tackle, down towards the substitute, that's Brian O'Mara.
Not the type of cornerback you want to spend 70 minutes of a championship match on, and he's been rock solid.
Nicky Quaid pumping it down on top of the full forward line. Scrapping in there forward is Dowling. Got a shot in, breaks to Mulcahy. Cummins saves, back to James Ryan. Danger not cleared, blocked again by Pádraig Maher. Limerick denied not once but twice. James Ryan blocked this time by Pádraig Maher. Well, it is end-to-end, nail-biting stuff. Whistle sounds and it's a free. But that was a couple of great chances for Limerick. Initially Mulcahy and then James Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't put in it, Mike. You know, great save by Cummins from Shawnee Tobin. You know, but James Ryan here just elected to rise it, and you know, Cummins and the cover back. I mean, again, you have to credit the goalie as well. He's always stands up tall, closes the space down, and block the ball with his body. You know, chance obviously Limerick may rue. I mean, at this stage of the game would have been crucial, but Hannon can put them ahead. He's missed it.
It's all happening here as Declan Hannon hooks that free.
From, you know, a position in the field where at this level, you know, you just routinely mark the score down. So huge point in the game. Shane Dowling now from, you know, well inside his own half of the field. He's going for this one, Mike. Good striker of the ball. Could put Limerick ahead.
It's a huge free for Limerick. It's a huge free for Dowling. He's given it everything, and it's gone over the bar. And the Limerick crowd are on their feet. That was a huge score from Dowling in every sense of the word.
Yeah, that was inspiration, Mike. I mean, he was well inside his own 65, halfway between the 65 and the 45, and massive scores, particularly in the context of Hannon missing that last one as well, and huge lift for Limerick.
So Limerick are a point in front. Mulcahy manages to slip it through. This is Niall Moran. In off the bench, over the bar. Limerick have made their kick for home. They lead by 2. Swinging into the last 7 minutes, and it's Moran, the man with so much experience, who popped up and did the right thing.
Yeah, again, hugely experienced, and you know, Nicky has spoke about it before the game. You know, the Limerick bench that Conor Ellis, Niall Moran, you know, Shane Dowling, these guys didn't start.
So Lark Corbett, it seems, will be joining us any moment now. He was a late addition to the start of this match after Jason Ford had to cry off with an illness. Did damage his ribs in the league final against Kilkenny, but he is badly needed at this stage. Limerick have made that change, by the way. Paul Brown, the player who's been replaced by Cathal King. So Limerick in the lead by the minimum. Wayne McNamara knocking it down towards his captain O'Grady. won by Maher. Just one man inside to aim at. That's Kelly, who despite his best efforts isn't going to get there. He's shepherded away from the ball by Tom Conn. Goals for Tipperary than any other player, and they need one now. Mickey Cahill driving it in towards Corbett. Watching it all the way is Gavin O'Mahony. Great strong hand from the wing back from Kilmallock. Makes a few strides and then clears his lines down towards Hannon. Place to take Tipperary on and to turn them over. As we tick towards injury time at the end of this Munster semi-final. Tip throwing everything forward now. Flicked on by Bonner Marr. Richie McCarthy. Once more. First man to react, outside to O'Grady. Donal O'Grady, the captain, lets fly. The umpires watch it all the way. It's gone over the bar, and it just might be the insurance score. What a score for Donal O'Grady, the team captain. 3 from play. Limerick are almost there.
Yeah, and the roof nearly came off the stand with that one. And Wayne McNamara, inspirational catch again.
Ball driven inside by Conor Alice, looking for his fellow substitute Niall Moran. Down the field by Brendan Cummins. We're into stoppage time. We'll have at least 2 minutes, says the fourth official. Bonner Marr outside to John O'Brien. He's got a lot of experience. He tries to hit the target. It's gone wide. And for Limerick, perhaps as good as a score.
Yeah, and I think that's tipped into double digits in the Whites count as well. I think that's their 10th, and you know they're going to rule those misses. 2 points in it, and you feel that Tipper need a goal at this stage. Minute left to obtain it.
Well, we said earlier there was a carnival atmosphere along the Ennis Road before this match. If Limerick hang on here, it is going to be a long night by the Shannon. Declan Hannon going for it, backing himself. They can do no wrong. Hannon has nailed it. 8 points for the young full forward from Adair. He never had any doubt. And the roar of the crowd told you all you needed to know. The Munster champions have fallen 3 points behind. And Limerick are on the brink of a first Munster final since 2007. Mulcahy scrapping for the crumbs from the table. Got his body in there, wins the line ball, and Tip really have lost their way in this last quarter.
They have, but credit to Limerick, and I think the Limerick defence in particular. I mean, they had their rocky moments. You know, John O'Dwyer coming on and hitting 1-3, but they've weathered the storm. And you know, Richie McCarthy, Tom Condon in particular, outstanding. And Brian Gavin blows a whistle, and the Limerick crowd are going to invade this pitch. And why wouldn't they, with the the performance their team gave?
Oh, what a day for Limerick. They have waited years and years for a day like this. They've upset the odds. They win a Munster Championship game for the first time in 6 years. They'll be getting ready now for their first Munster final in 6 years. And they've ended Tip's dreams of 3 in a row in the process. On a sweltering day at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick.
And it's exactly what the Hurling Championship needs, Mike, because this again is tipped through the back door.
Goal to put us ahead, and you know, you would hope at that stage we could have kicked on, but we didn't. I thought they played very well, and they've been the last few years they've been a sort of coming team, and they deserve certainly to be in the Munster final.
I've said numerous times there's a huge honesty and work ethic within the team, and I'm delighted today that that work ethic and honesty paid off.
It certainly paid off, and now Limerick are through to the provincial final on the 14th of July. They await the winners of the second semi-final when Clare take on Cork. Well, Cyril Farrell, I mean, for Limerick, the joy was clear to be seen at the end. And you were talking earlier, they've had a lot of pain, but there's some great hurling people in Limerick, you were saying, will take so much pleasure from that.
Yeah, there's roughly 16,000 supporters in Limerick when they get flowing. And today, it just shows you what the championship is about. They came with a game plan, they executed to perfection. OK, they got a few breaks on the way, some fantastic performances, but they stayed going the whole time, and they were trying to play the perfect ball, the right ball, though it mightn't have worked out. Yeah. But around the middle of the field, Paul Brown, Donal O'Grady, they played fantastic. So full back, Richie McCarthy, probably the game of his life. The substitutes coming on, these fellas, these are the future of the game in Limerick, and they can go from strength to strength to strength. But when it's all said and done, remember the last All-Ireland that Tip won, they were beaten by Donald's Cork by 10 points, and they came back to win All-Ireland. They're still there. They'll be disappointed tonight, but they'll regroup, and they're not far off either.
All right. But tonight is Limerick's night. The players obviously deserve most of the credit, Donald, but John Allen clearly had a big role to play, and you know him well. You played under him, of course.
Yeah, I did. I had the pleasure of playing under John, you know, and I think he's a very special manager, you know, and right from the off today, the one thing about John is that he'll have his team in a perfect state of mind. You can see from the start here, putting Tipperary under fierce pressure from a puck out. The one thing I liked today is that there was fierce options for all of the Limerick players and great movement in the forward line. You can see all of our players are moving, finished by a great score, even with the option of Seamus Hickey inside that could have been on even for another score. But I think that's John's greatest strength, that he you know, his man management is top class. As you can see here again, Paddy O'Brien lifts his head. Strong part of John. You know, it was near the end of the game. You could have been tempted to launch the ball into the full forward line. But yet again, look at all the options here that are available to Limerick forwards. And again, doesn't take a wild shot. And even before they get the final point, there's more options available. And that would really be a real trademark of John Allen's, his composure under pressure. And he would be imparting that type of psychology onto his players. I worked with a lot of psychologists and mind coaches down the years, but to be honest, I never met a guy who was better able to prepare a team mentally than John Allen.
That's a big compliment. Apart from the options going forward, the defence was great, and the goalkeeper, Nicky Quaid, obviously you would appreciate his performance today. Yeah,
I thought Nicky Quaid was outstanding today, you know, continuing on such a great tradition of goalkeepers in Limerick between his dad and his uncle. You know, you see here it's a great ball in from Noel McGrath. Great cross again from Bonnie Maher. And what a save. You know, you could have said that the ball would have been struck to the other side. That's very close to be making a save like that, and especially in a warm day, the ball travels extremely fast. Again, if one of these goals were to go in, the story of the game could have been much different. But Nicky Quaid comes out, covers his angles, and from a goalkeeping point of view, you couldn't ask for a greater contribution from him today.
So an all-round performance, and of course a 20-man all-round performance, which is a point you were making, Cyril, on both teams. Yeah, and it's going that way. There's like the modern game is you use all your subs nearly, like. But this John O'Dwyer came on, Bubbles is called, a beautiful hurl. John O'Brien flicks a lovely ball here. Noel McGrath, anything he did today was class. Just a lovely flick on here. Here comes John O'Dwyer. He's not going to miss this, left or right, like just over the bar. I think he gets 1-3 from play, which is unbelievable contribution second half. Now here's a goal coming up. Bonner Maher does a lot of work here, gets this ball up. He's a good old workhorse. Gets it up here, has a look up, gets a tackle, hand pass across. But now he's a lot to do here, John has, takes it, and on his left this time, sticks a great shot. Now there it is, you'd expect Tip to move on. They're after getting into the lead, coming from the back. But here now again, look at this is Dowling coming on here. This should have been clear, little hand pass out, he's blocked down. Good save by Dowling, comes around and back on his, it wouldn't be his favourite side, right side, bang over the bar. Dowling is very, very strong and very, very young, needs to get a bit fitter. And like, you know, he came on and got 3 points. This is about 85, 90 yards out. He opens up the shoulders, left-handed, drives as hard as he can over the bar. Now that's going to lift the team. And he you know, coming off the bench, he would be disappointed, himself and Kevin Downs. It would be the talk in Limerick how the two young lads, they're the future, how they weren't on. But it shows you how strong he is that when they come on from the bench. Now they will be pushing hard for places for the next day, but they're in a great place tonight. Yeah, it's interesting, given Declan Hannon there as well, that the 21 match didn't go their way against Tip. Yeah, but these guys all went to school in Artscale Reach and you know, they won a Harty Cup. They didn't play well, but let's go back to last year. Clare hammered Kilkenny in All-Ireland final, and yet a few weeks afterwards you had Buckley and you had Welch coming on that off that under-21 team and playing in the senior final against Galway and going very well. Question about Tip now. Cyril says they're not out of it by any means. You beat them and they came back storming. What do you think will happen to Tip now? Yeah, I think, look, there's no doubt it's a blow to them. It was seen as a big game for them. It's Eamon O'Shea's first year in as manager. They'll just have to regroup. As Cyril rightly pointed out, the last time the Tipperary won the All-Ireland, they were beaten by us down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. And, you know, I remember even that night thinking that Tip would be a major force going forward in the championship. I don't think it's going to be any different this year. But they've definitely got some issues to sort out. I think ball winning is a big problem for them. A lot of their passes today, they were, you know, at times really good and accurate and precise, but it demands the style of game that they're playing. It demands almost a perfect ball to be played every time. And in the heat of a Munster championship, when you come up with it against a highly motivated team like Limerick, that's probably a high-risk strategy. All right. And a final point for now, Cyril, on this. The championship has been blown wide open today, has it?
Well, like just the weekend. Like last night, you had a great game. Like Dublin hot favourites, lucky to get out of Wexford Park. Today, awfully, like, you know, showed the faithful county. They didn't let anyone down. Okay, they were beaten, but by God, they put it up to them. And like there you had. Now, even though Limerick weren't favourites, it's not a shock, days, because in the history of the hurling, Limerick will always rise to tip. And go back to last year in Thurles, they were 6 or 7 points up about 8 or 9 minutes to go. And if that game was in the Gaelic Park grounds last year, they probably won it too. But like, it's great for Limerick. And I know it's not, Tip will be disappointed, but it's actually great for hurling. It opens up the whole thing for the summer.
And the Cork and Clare fellas also fancy their chances, I've no doubt. Well, yesterday